Hello and welcome to another Full Court Press, a college basketball coaches show. LT in the seat with my guy, Sammy D. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review on all the different places. And don't also forget to check out College Basketball Weekly. It's been doing really well. We've had some great guests. We've had some great conversations. So check out College Basketball Weekly. So I am really excited because we had to get you up early for this one, Sam, because Sam's in Colorado. Yeah. You know what? In Ohio, anytime I can talk to someone when they're driving and I can see the sun shining, it's a better weekend.
It is. It's this going to be a great episode. It's about a week ago, LT and I were talking like, hey, who do we want some of our next guests to be? And I said, we got to get UNF on here. We got to get
Driscoll the Ospreys.
Hey, caca. Hey, around here we say, let's go. That didn't go viral on accident.
Oh, I love it.
Oh, my God. We've done it all, Sam. We got Coach Matthew Driscoll of the University of North Florida Ospreys. Welcome to the Full Court Press, Coach.
Hey, thank you. Last time I got full court pressed, it didn't turn out well. We had probably 2 back-to-back turnovers. We had a chance to beat Eastern Kentucky at Eastern Kentucky last year, and we were kind of rolling along with Chaz Lanier, who now is playing for the Vols of Tennessee. And so when I saw you and you asked me about this, and I saw full court press, the visions didn't come back like you probably wanted them to.
Sam, is this the first time we've ever interviewed with someone driving? This is awesome. You know what? Next show, I'm going to sit in the bathroom.
There you go. I think he wants to show off like the blue skies in Florida right now. You know, getting his Dunkin'.
And the Dunkin'. You got to have the Dunkin'.
There we go. Yeah.
And the Smoothie King. I got them all. What's crazy is those are not puns or pubs or whatever you want to call those things for those. Yeah. Those are not shameless deals. But it's interesting you guys say that because 32 years living in Pittsburgh, growing up, blue collar. Dad was a 36-year delivered bread for a living. He was the breadwinner of the family, and no pun intended. And what was crazy was though, but here's what's crazy about having a dad that does that. Think about this: when you go deliver bread, you run into all the other vendors, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, like Hostess Ho-Hos, like Edam's cookies. So, like we would like my dad would be like bartering, like 2 loaves of bread for a box of Ho-Hos, 2 loaves of bread for Edam. So it's pretty cool, kind of deal. But then you leave, you go to Laramie, Wyoming with Coach Shiat, and you talk about colder than cold.
Laradice.
And you take your whole family across the Mississippi for the first time ever, in your life, your whole family, my wife and my son. And then you leave there and your next stop is Clemson. And then you brief stop at Valparaiso, brief 7 weeks, which is another story we could do for a whole episode. And then you get to Baylor, so you're in Waco, Texas. And obviously, the only thing you know about Waco, Texas is when I was a 5th grade teacher, we watched the David Koresh and we watched the FBI go through the building, which is about 10 miles outside. And so you leave Waco, and next thing you know, you're in Jacksonville, Florida. And so you talk about I'll be 60. So the last 28 years of my life, I've lived in some really, really warm, really beautiful places. And so it's an amazing quality of life. We live about a block and a half from the ocean, and the school's 8 miles from the ocean. And we have an NFL football team, one of 32 in the whole country, 8 miles the other way. So 1,700 acres with a $7 billion mall out in front of. Hey, how about this one, guys? We have 2, probably a half a mile away from each other in the mall. We have Fogo de Chao and Texas de Brazil.
There you go.
Like who has both of those? Who has both of those, let alone within a half mile of each other?
Oh my God!
Don't have it in Pittsburgh.
Doesn't happen in Pittsburgh, that's for sure.
But we got Permanis. We got Permanis, baby. We got Permanis.
I've been at Permanis.
Oh
None
God,
better.
I
Nothing
love
better.
it. So Coach, man, you guys are making national news. You know, you've beaten SEC and ACC teams, South Carolina, Georgia Tech. You've already matched the program's all-time record for the wins against power conferences. You know, in just the first couple games this season. Earned 14 votes in the AP poll top 25 for the first time in program history. Congratulations. Like what's the atmosphere like in the locker room?
Sam,
And
just wait. Sam, you know what that calls for?
What's that?
Lifetime extension.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
First of all, I'm grateful. I've been here 16 years. A couple of times they've tried to go in a different direction, and unfortunately, whatever you want to say for them, we've kept on getting really, really good players. Our staff has been with me almost the whole time, all of them, and so when you have that kind of consistency that's committed, I think with discipline and understanding little things make the biggest difference. Things come to fruition, including this. It'd be cool had we pulled off, Tuesday night, probably have an opportunity to be the first time ever to be ranked in the top 25 because nobody could argue 3 road wins against power fours in the first 10 days. Like that's got to be worth something. And but these guys, we do something in the summer. So when you got 8 new guys, 15 in the last 2 years, one guy on the 14-man roster has been with us for more than 1 year in 4 games. So you talk about how this is going to look, how it's going to go. World's coming to an end. Your best players almost making 7 digits at Tennessee and from last year, and like what's going to happen to Athletic, all that kind of stuff, right? But at the end of the day, our job is to help these guys become as good of men as we could possibly make them, and at the same time make them the best version of themselves from a basketball standpoint because they want and they have aspirations that they'd like to reach. And if you do that as a coach, then the byproduct is what's happening now. So how do you get these guys connected? How do you bond? How do you like all these things that, whatever.
Mhm.
We've been doing this thing, and I know other people have done it, but we've been doing this thing for well over a decade. And we call it the Family Series. And it's a little bit deeper than other people do it. Ours is 5 H's. And it's just your history, your highlight, your heartache, your hero, and your hope. And I'm going to tell you something, guys. Our staff does it, and our players do it. And this summer, like the amount of tears, the amount of joy, the amount of learning each other's where they came from, why, here. And we tell the guys all the time, like, everybody's here for a purpose. Like, we have no idea what the purpose is, but you are purposely put here. Guys, I was so crushed in May. There were dudes like Liam Murphy that were telling us no. And I'm thinking to myself, we're trying to replace a guy that shot 42% from 3. You're going to shoot whenever you want to shoot, how often you want to shoot. And how can you say no to that and go to some of these places? How do you do that? However, because of what I believe, he might not be early, but he's never late. He knew that Liam Murphy was the dude. He knew that I'm just naming one guy in one story.
Sure.
But and so when you go through that bonding process, that family series, and guys learn about everybody's pluses and minuses and nuances and all those kind of things, then I think that really helps put you in a position. And then our system is not very difficult, but there's a lot of, we always say simple, sophisticated, and there's a lot of little nuances and a lot of little this, that, and the others. And so to these guys' credit, they've grown through that. They fought through that. And to go do what they do. But so our theme this year is play to win, confidence to finish. And when the confidence to finish, we tied in there's a book I like to read. It's got 66 chapters. And one of the chapters in it says, don't be afraid, just believe. And so we've really been trying to help these guys understand that it's the belief in the system, the belief in the staff, the belief in those that came before you, that put those banners that you look at every single day in the wall. Like all that stuff matters. And so when you play to win, it says in the book as well too, in a chapter, it says everybody in the race runs. However, you have to run in such, S-U-S-H, and a lot of people don't realize it, just like your podcast. If you don't do what you guys do in such a way, if you just do it like everybody else does it, if you just do it like no one pays for average. Average gets you nowhere. So in order to be special like your podcast or be like you guys and put something out there that people want to learn from and feel like, so like the same thing with our guys play to win, like you got to run in such a way. In order to win, you got to run in such a way, and that way's got to be specific and disciplined, and that every little detail makes the greatest difference. And so our guys were continually believing in that, and so to their credit, it came to fruition.
Yeah, no, I mean, it seems like you guys just clicked right away. I mean, you talk a lot in a couple press conference about, when you come to play for North Florida, there's a standard, and the standard's the standard, right? It seems like all these other coaches that we're interviewing, they're kind of like, oh yeah, we need to wait a month or two to kind of figure out how our team's clicking and everything like that. But it seems like all these new guys, I mean, they've bought into the standard at UNF so quickly.
So great question, because I think you just hit on something that I never even realized. By the way, I don't know if there's I don't know if I can flip my screen around. Here, let me answer your question first. I think you just hit on something that I just didn't realize is when you say they bought into it, when you say that these guys understand that the standard's the standard, I think part of that is everything that came before them, everything that's been placed in front of them, all those things that are the most important things. I think these guys kind of felt that coming through, and they felt that coming to fruition. And so if you don't take your laurels and you don't fall back on certain things, or you don't say what you said, because when you play the schedule we play every single year, in my 16 years, we've already played over 100. We've already played. How about that? I'm getting gas for you too, just so y'all know. Because while I was driving around, my gas light came on. Now that would be embarrassing on your show. But because we play the schedule we play, it's really hard for us some years to do what you just said.
Yeah.
So one year we played Michigan State Friday night. They were supposed to be in the Final Four. Michigan on Saturday. Duncan Robinson, who went to the Final Four, traveled Sunday. VCU, who's going to press the living dog out of you, full court press, missed a 3 with 2 minutes to go to tie it. Traveled home, went to go play Florida. 2 days later, they beat us by 40. Got on a bus, went on a 12-hour bus ride, got in at 7 in the morning, and played on Saturday and Sunday in the Wofford tournament and lost both games at the buzzer, missing 3s to tie them. And then we came home, rested for 2 days, and went and played Kentucky. How are you going to build, in this day and age, how are you going to build camaraderie and teamwork and flow? So that's why we press upon these dudes so early, and we help these guys understand that it's everything matters. Everything in our program is purposeful. We do things purposeful, and there's a reason behind it, and you just got to believe that it matters, because that's kind of where it goes. So anyways, it's I'm glad you said that, because you don't have time. We don't have time. And that's the other thing too, guys. Like if you take the word North off my shirt and it says Florida, then I'm going to go buy 6 games instead of getting beat 6 times. In the last 11 years, we finished in the top half of the league. 8 of those, 4th or higher, 3 of them championships. They're building a statue for me. If I'm buying 6 more wins, I'm going to the NCAA tournament every year. So my point to you is, like we ain't got time. Like we ain't got time to do this, that, or the other. We got to move. We got to go. We got to go. We got to go.
Yeah, and Coach, you're going, man. You're on the move, baby.
Well, the great thing is we're accomplishing so much. Smoothie King, Duncan, one of our kids, unfortunately, had to get labrum surgery this morning, so took care of that. At 5 o'clock this morning, when I went and worked out, I texted the doctor, and the good news is he's a friend of mine, which is bad because he's done so many surgeries for 16 years. But he texted me back, which was great. and I had already beat him because I already had done my workout, and he was just doing his. So I was winning. Like before 6 o'clock, I had like 3 wins.
I love it.
Yeah, it's 9:48 our time, and I'm not even competing right now, Coach. But thank you, appreciate it. Make me feel good about myself, Coach.
You got kids to school, didn't you, LT?
Hey, you get kids to school. Well, that's a win.
I do.
Hey,
I don't have socks on, but I have pants on.
Hey, I've already so I talk about this when I talk about different things, but so we have a thing like get up, win, and go to bed, right? And for 16 years, it's always been about going 1-0. But I will tell you this: I also make my bed every morning.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, if nothing, and if she's still in it, then I just do my side. Like, I'm not crazy. I'm not gonna wake her
My
up.
wife does the same thing, Coach.
See, but see, she's got to win. She's got to win before, like, and when you go back home and you go to bed and you've had maybe things didn't go well,
Mm-hmm.
then like you look at your bed and you're like, you know what, that looks like brings a little bit of joy to you, a little bit of whatever, you know.
Yeah.
You ain't buying that.
Yeah, there's a book. It's a famous Navy SEAL who wrote like, hey, here's the 5 things to win throughout the day, and the first thing you do in your day is make your bed. It's the easiest win to just check it off your list, and so I subscribe to that policy for sure. Coach, I want to talk a little bit about a few of your players. Harris, Miles, Smith, Murphy, Litteris, like anybody else. Like, I mean, is there anybody on your team that's kind of surprised you early on? I mean, Murphy's. You already mentioned him, grad transfer. Like, I mean, he's shot lights out those first few games. Like, I mean, anybody else is anybody surprising you that's really just stepped up the first few games?
So I'd say collectively, they've surprised me.
Mm-hmm.
And I know some people will say, oh, he's just dodging the question. So, like, first of all, we've had 6 guys return. 5 of the guys were eligible and played last year. 1 was a red shirt. All 5 guys started last year. How about that one? 1 guy, Nate Litteris, every single game. And then the other 4 guys, Amitri tore his ACL, so Jalen had to start halfway through the season, becomes all league, and now Jalen starts, and Amitri's backing him up. And then Oscar started every single game.
Yep.
And then Josiah was just coming along, and we were going to redshirt him. And he became a starter and put Oscar on the bench. So that's a cool thing. Josh Harris is a outlier. He's 6A player of the year. He's a little too short. He's a little too unathletic. He's a little too this. He's a little too that. So we're like, okay, those guys that are a little too this and a little too that, those have become some of the greatest players we ever had. And so he really bought into being coached. I coach him really hard. I don't cuss at him or anything, but I do coach him hard. And sometimes probably too hard. And I apologize. Sometimes I never make it personal, but I'm always trying to do what is best, so to speak, for the program, and for where we're going. But Josh is he's got an unorthodox way in which he scores. And if you watched him and watched his shots and the way he's touched, and it's beautiful, and he can make an open 3. And so he's got a chance to really, Dante Oliver, was a little bit of a surprise in the sense that being a coach's son, obviously, God bless the South Florida program and what they had to go through. And Amir was a friend, and his dad's on staff. And so we had to deal with that in a different way, as you can imagine. Mm-hmm. And his ability and what he does as a freshman has been really, really, really cool. And so I would say collectively those guys. But I'm going to tell you who's a huge surprise. And remember, I told you this. Just write this note down.
I'm going to write down.
3 years, you're going to get back on the show and you're going to say, he told us that. The 7-footer, Arden from Canada. That
Oh, Canada,
dude,
our
got it.
home and native land.
Luke is from Canada, so anytime you can shout out a Canadian player, he gets so excited. So
oh, cool. He's actually plays on the Albanian national team.
Mhm.
Mom and dad came over mom and dad came over and have lived there for 30 some years in Toronto. And this dude can handle it, dribble, pass, and shoot. You know, he just doesn't quite have the understanding. That's not bad right there, guys. What do you guys think about that?
Where is that?
Oh,
Is
you
that
can't see it. I'm sorry, you can't see it.
is that
It's at the other-
McDonald's or is that Taco Bell?
No. I can't. I don't know how to flip my camera. It don't matter. I
I
don't know how
see
to
it. It looks
flip.
nice.
Can you flip it?
Oh, I see that.
Yeah, that's not bad. It's right next to campus. Yeah,
That
right
ain't
next to
bad.
campus. Anyway, I want to throw that out at you. But that dude, he like, and I'm talking about bouncy. Like he is so uberly bouncy, and he's got an incredible jump hook. And so he was 6'1" in 8th grade, and he went back to play soccer the following year, and he had grown to 6'7". And the soccer guy said, "You can't play soccer anymore. Go try basketball." So he's been playing basketball for 5 years,
Wow.
and now he's 7 foot.
Wow.
Hey, we just signed another guy like that. He was 5'7", leaving 8th grade, and he's 6'8" now. And actually, Chaz Lanier was 5'9" in 9th grade, and he grew to 6'4" by the time he was a senior. So, anyways, the surprise to me of all the guys is how good. And then you say, well, Coach, if he's that good, why'd you redshirt him? Well, at the end of the day, you're only going to play so many guys. And is it worth the 60 to 70 to 80 minutes that he might play now? Is that experience worth it compared to a whole nother year? Yeah, but Coach, if he stays a whole nother year, then he's going to get really good in 1 year or 2 years, and he's going to leave you, and he's going to – awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Congratulations. Go. That means we got the byproduct of making you who you want to become, and we get the byproduct of winning, and you get the byproduct of, generational wealth.
Mhm.
Come on. That's what we do this for.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I was going to ask you, is there any concern with how well you're doing? I mean, some of these players are getting national attention now and some spotlight,
Yes.
but I mean, you're all for it, huh?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. No. There's worries. I'm going to tell you why. They know I'm all for it because we told them that, and we told them in recruiting. And I told Jalen and Josiah, you started as a freshman. Like, you guys shouldn't be here in a couple years. That's cool. That's cool. But you better work like a professional, and you better understand what a professional does. But here's the problem, guys. I just had this conversation with the team on the bus on the way to Georgia Tech. Okay, elephant in the room, guys. Agents are blowing you up.
Mhm.
That's the problem. That's the problem. All these people, forget about patting guys on the back. Forget about your alumni being happy. Forget about all this stuff. They got all these agents because the agents are going to get 10 to 20% of the money. And I told the guys, listen to me. You don't worry about that stuff. Worry about us. Worry about what's next. Worry about development. Worry about winning. Worry about team. Worry about the University of North Florida. Worry about that, because when you do, Chaz Lanier happens.
Yep.
Yeah.
But when you worry about the other things, I told Liam this the other day. You're going to love this. Halftime of the game at home against Charleston Southern. He was 1 for 3, I think, which you guys might think is good. I thought he sucked. And I said, Liam, listen, what are you doing? And I took my 2 fists and I squeezed them, and you could see my arms, right? The muscles in your forearms. I'm like, brother, just shoot the ball, relax. Shoot it 20 times. I could care less. You're shooting 61% from three. Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
And he went 4 for 4 in the second half. And I told the guys, like, on the bus, like, guys, like, if you worry about the wrong things, then your sphincter's going to be so tight that you're not going to be able to even function. Like, just relax and enjoy and just compete and do whatever it takes to be the best version of yourself in your role. That changes all the time. Injury, illness, attrition, it changes all the time. So, yes, I am concerned from the aspect of leave these dudes alone.
Mhm.
Let these guys be young people that are growing. And at the end of the year, if you want to get involved with them and help them out, and there are great agents, I'm not saying that. I'm saying they don't need you right now.
Yep. Yeah.
Anyways, you want to ask me another question to get me excited?
Well, the passion is I think Luke's a little intimidated because he usually shows the most passion on this show.
I'm worried about my sphincter right now.
All right, so Coach, we do a little thing on the full court press called the shot clock. LT is going to fire off 5 questions. Should be pretty easy. If they're one-word answers, they're one-word answers. If it leads to a short story, go for the short story. But the platform's yours. LT, let's get it.
Hold on,
All right.
time out. Is it 30 or is it an offensive rebound 20?
You can decide.
Everybody goes over the shot clock mostly, but it's really just a little bit.
Oh, now you provided a challenge. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll win. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. All right. One word to describe UNF.
Untapped. Just the potential is 1,700 acres, extremely gorgeous. Where it's located, we've only been here for 50 years. It's just continues to grow and grow. We're going to be 25,000 students by 28. And so this place is no longer a hidden gem. It's no longer a diamond in the rough. It is potential capacity like you've never seen.
Okay. I like it. Biggest coaching influence.
Dickie Hartung, Jerry Slocum, Larry Shyatt, Scott Drew, and then a myriad of others, but I don't have enough time in the shot clock, but those 4 resonate the fastest.
Yeah.
By the way, Coach Shyatt was at the game against South Carolina. Was in attendance for the win. Yeah, it was really cool. He turned to coach. He was smiling. Clemson head coach.
Yeah, he was smiling.
He turned to Coach Kennan's daughter. He was sitting next to Coach Kennan's daughter. Unfortunately, Coach Kennan lost his father-in-law on Tuesday. Had to leave. Couldn't coach the game. He died of ALS, which is a really nasty disease. And shout out to Coach Kennan and his family as they mourn the passing of his father-in-law. He turned to Coach Kennan's daughter, Reagan, and it was like, tight game with like 6 minutes to go. And there was a timeout, and he said, back when I was coaching with Coach, we used to call this sphincter time.
Oh my God. All right. So you've had 3 solid wins. Which one would you say was the most important?
Charleston Southern.
Why?
You had just beat South Carolina. So, it's a blind, we tell our guys, a blind squirrel finds an acorn every once in a while. You got the home opener. Everybody's patting your back. You got the ability to set the tone and help people understand exactly, and as we forge our identity. And then you take an L on that one, and now forget about South Carolina. But now you just busted your own bubble in your own home on the very first opportunity after what you had just done. That's my opinion.
No, I like a big 24-point kind of statement win,
Yeah. And Charleston Southern's a good team, really good team.
100%.
Yeah. Which coach would you say drinks the most caffeine on a daily basis?
Scott Drew. And I'm going to tell you why. And it's so I'm down to one a day. So I just 120. I think it's 24 ounces, whatever it is, 22 ounces. But Coach, if you read his book, he gives me the credit for him being a coffee drinker. And so he's gone all the way to the extent of they actually have their own Starbucks producing machine inside the office. And so he blames me, or gives me credit. Let me put it that way. Coach gives me credit for his caffeine issues.
Okay.
So Scott Drew, no doubt.
Okay.
Yeah. Shout out to Scott Drew, the Road to Joy, incredible book.
Yeah. Thank you. There's a lot of stories that didn't make it, but there were some really good. The one arm bandit from The Fugitive.
Mm-hmm.
Like I did this ride along the other day. Guy interviewed me for 30 minutes in a car with cameras, and there was the car that was following us, videoing us, and it reminded me of that story when we were on the highway in L.A. And he looked out the window and saw the actor and was going nuts and basically not forced me, but basically encouraged me to pull over so he could put his window down. And sure enough, it was him. It was the actor from the movie. Yeah.
Okay. Funniest recruiting story. If you had one funny recruiting story you could share, what would it be?
I got a lot of them. But one specifically, Coach Tang and I were going out to Sacramento to see a guy named Fred Ellis, who we eventually signed. We are stopping at the West check stop because it's 30 minutes outside of Waco, heading to Dallas to catch our flight. And remember, we had a murder that took place. So we always feel like we were looked at differently to begin with. And at that time, 2003, remember, 2004, remember, 9/11 just occurred.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So also flying was a little bit different. There were still marshals on the plane. This is going to be important to the story. So we stop at the check stop. They happened to have a pickup truck for some reason. I don't know why. My donor car was a pickup truck for some reason. And we're filling it up with gas. We put the gas in. We shut it. We go inside. They happen to have these chocolate chip cookies as well that are for sale. And the cookies were big and they were thick and they were just really, I got to cut through traffic and I probably shouldn't have done that, but it's okay. And so I get these chocolate chip cookies and Coach and I are having this conversation and we're laughing and we walk out of the store and we look over at the truck and the pump was stuck and the gas is spewing. Now, this was back when gas was like $4 a gallon. So the gas was spewing out of the truck. And now you go into like life mode. And so I'm looking for the shutoff. And there's a guy, this farmer, and the farmer is across like 2 bays down. And as calm as you could be, he didn't. You picture a guy with like a piece of straw in his mouth and got the overalls on, and it's like 4 a.m. because we had like a 6 o'clock flight. And I'm like, "Where's the sheriff? Where's the sheriff?" And the thing on the gas thing is just going like this. It's going like this. Oh, hold on, let me back up. We're joking about the cookie, and we get in the car. When we get in the car, that's what happened. When we get in the car, we forgot that the gas pump was still in the car. So we started to pull away with the truck, and then it snapped off, and then we got out, and then we started to get into a panic mode. I'm sorry, that's the best part of the story. We were laughing at each other so much about the cookie and not paying attention. We pulled the pump off the thing. So the farmer looks at us, and he says, "Hey, the button's inside. The button's inside." Well, if you know Coach Tang and I, we like to have a lot of fun. We were inside, and we were kind of having fun with the people that were working, too, at the same time. So we came up to the window, and I started pointing to the gas. It's running over, and we're shut it off, and they're laughing. Like, they're just joking still. They're just joking, and I'm yelling, "The pump, the pump, the pump." So finally we get it shut off. The gas was like $100 and some. we have to go buy a bag of cat litter and spray cat litter all over it. And in the meantime, we've gotten gasoline splashed all over us. So we stink to high heaven. So now we're going to go get on a flight, smell like we smell a few years post 9/11. And like, we're thinking, oh my gosh, like, we're going to get arrested. There's going to be a marshal on. Like, we have all. So we stop at a perfume stand inside the airport, and we lather ourselves with perfume and cologne and all kind of stuff, and we stink. Like, we are awful. Now, understand, this is an in and out trip. So we're going to and back in the same day. And so we don't have any change of clothes or anything. So anyways, we get to the house, and later on we found out after we signed them that they actually got up and went back in the room and were like a little concerned that we smelled so much like gasoline. And then they were worried that their couch was going to smell like gasoline once we left.
Mm-hmm.
So crazy story.
I love
Crazy
it.
Crazy.
Hey, Coach, how was the cookie?
So the best part was I took the cookies and I put them in the glove box. And I did. So we had the Chex kolaches on the way, and we had the cookies waiting for us for the drive back.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we were laughing so hard. We were like, they're never going to make it. hey, let me tell you one more story. We got time?
Yeah, you're good.
Let's do it.
This correlates. So Josiah Miles is on his visit. We turned the corner to go to the hotel. There's a Wawa on the right. I look. I have video evidence, by the way. I look, and the grass is on fire. So later, I realize that they smoke, and then there's these bushes. So if you're looking out of the Wawa to the road, there's these high bushes. You can't see the road, so they kind of shield the road. So when they smoke, they throw the cigarette on the other side of the bush. So from the road, the store couldn't see the fire. So it's April. So it's like a brush fire. So we turn the corner, and I go, oh my goodness, the grass is on fire. The bushes are gonna catch on fire. So I speed up. I pull into the Wawa. I pull up to the bushes. I get out of the car, and one of the workers is walking back in. And I don't know. I'm not saying it was the person that was smoking, but is walking back into the Wawa. So I go, the bush is on fire. The bush is on fire. I need a fire extinguisher. Call 911. Call 911. So the guy looks at me like, whatever. And I look over at the gas pumps, and I know there's fire extinguishers at the gas pumps. So I yell to a guy, I need the fire extinguisher. I need the fire extinguisher. So the guy brings it over. I go on the other side of the bushes. I extinguish the fire. The whole time I'm doing it, the mom is just standing. She gets out of the car, and she's recording the whole thing. And so I get it extinguished. The manager comes out. I said, listen, yada, yada, yada. He comes over. He said, oh, my goodness, thank you so much. Yada, yada, yada. Get back in the car. Drive away. Go, the hotel's right there. And as I'm driving away, 2 fire trucks are coming down the road, because they're going to come. It's taken care of now. And so drop them off, send the video to my AD. I said, hey, you're not going to believe this. He happened to be at a baseball game. 2 of our biggest donors were sitting next to him, and he showed them. And the one guy goes, man, he must really want this recruit to have somebody stage a fire.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, my God.
And you got him. You got him.
And we got him.
2 things just quickly. What is up with fire and gasoline? Fire and gasoline. And also, too, we've had a couple other former Baylor assistants, and their funniest recruiting stories also involved Coach Tang. We need to get Coach Tang on the show.
We do, yeah. We need to have a little Scott Drew coaching tree, like round circle.
Is one of the most. Can you? You guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
You guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
guys hear me?
Yes. Can you hear us?
Hold on. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Do you have your earbuds?
There. Phone. Can you guys hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, loud and clear,
Can
Coach.
you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me now?
Do you have your earbuds?
Hold on.
Do you have your? There we go. Can you hear us?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
Yeah, we can. Yes.
Okay.
I apologize for that. Hey, so Coach Tang, so going back to Coach Tang, so like you talk about salt of the earth, and you talk about like I could tell you a ton of funny things about he and I. Obviously, he's one of the first assistants we hired. So it was Scott Drew, Matthew Driscoll, and Mark Moorfield. Those are the ones that got to Baylor. And then we started hiring after that, whomever we were going to bring in. And Coach Tang, I'm godfather to his daughter. And you talk about a dude that's walk to walk, talk to talk. You talk a guy that's, started from the bottom, now he's here. I mean, just Paul Mills. You talk about guys that have integrity and just love and just understanding and just like that staff was so special. Grant came after. That first 6 years, I refer to them as the lean years. Like that staff was so special. And Jerome Tang and Paul Mills had a lot to do with that just because of who they are as human beings and what they stand for as human beings. And so if you guys can have Coach Tang on here, it'd be well worth it because he is amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Love
Sam,
And
we
I'll
should
get
do
you his number. Oh,
there you go. We should do in the off season get Coach Driscoll, Coach Mills, and Coach Tang all on the same show. That would be
we can tell you some stories now.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure.
I bet.
Hey,
all right, Coach.
Coach Drew not made is a bad word, but had Coach Tang bang on our first year, made him bang on a garbage can to get the guys hyped before games. And so he banged on the garbage can so hard that about 3/4 of the way through the season, we had to buy a new garbage can because he had banged it so hard that it split it in half. I mean, just craziness. Hey, one time, Coach Drew, I think it's in his book. Coach Moorfield was his guy because they were at Valparaiso together. So I was new. He had to hire an old guy because Mike Heidelman left and went with Dick Bennett to Washington State with Tony Bennett when Dick Bennett took over Washington State. And so we got fired at Clemson. Coach had to hire an old guy. So I was 39, so he hired me. And Mark Moorfield knew Coach better than anyone. And it was probably our second game, maybe our third game. And Coach would wear one of his championship rings from Valpo. And we're doing the pregame. We come in a second time to go back out. And Coach always had like a something quirky that would help get the guys excited, whatever. Well, I didn't know that. And in this particular day, he must have told Coach Moorfield what he was going to do. So we go in to do the last part, and I notice Coach Moorfield's not standing up next near Coach Drew. And as a good assistant, I said to myself, well, I don't want Coach Drew to be off his game. Coach Moorfield must have something to do. I'll go take his place so Coach can feel the comfort of the assistant being up near him. That wasn't smart. Coach Moorfield knew what he was going to do. So I stand up next to Coach, and Coach says, okay, everybody stand up and get across from somebody. And so all the guys stand up and they line up and, they're across from somebody and, it looks like you're, going to get ready to play a tag or something. And Coach says, look at that person. And here's what I want you to do. And he slaps me with his ring. He slaps me across the face. And so he slaps me so hard that I bow up and I give him this look. And he's like, go ahead, Driscoll. Go ahead, Driscoll. Give me one. And those 2 seconds or 3 seconds, I'm thinking to myself, what are we doing? Like, I'm not smacking you. I'm not doing that. And he goes, go ahead, Driscoll. And you know what he did? He hit me again. He goes, go ahead, Driscoll. And then after he hit me the second time, I'm like, okay, smack him. So I'll smack him. And then all the guys like hit each other in the shoulder or whatever. All right, let's go. Good to go. Team together, let's go. And then we go out. I'm like, what the freak are we doing? He had it one time. There was wrestling mats in Nebraska. The wrestling room was next to the locker room. Next thing you know, he's taking us into the wrestling room. I'm like, oh my gosh, someone's gonna tear their labrum grappling, and we're gonna have to explain this to somebody in the media. Oh gosh, unbelievable.
So Coach, last question. If what is your spirit animal?
What is my spirit animal? Can you explain that?
Yeah, what animal do you relate most to?
Best associate with.
Yeah.
Oh.
If you're coaching peers or your players or your wife, if you said, hey, what animal?
I got ideas, but
does Coach Driscoll remind you of?
Something that would be bouncing all over the place. So either a kangaroo, something that's bouncing all over the place. Some people might say a jackass.
Called a donkey, Coach.
Oh, I apologize. Yeah, I didn't swear. I'm just telling you that's what it says in the Bible.
It's all good.
I'm sorry. Not in the book. I like to read that 6 chapters. Golly, I've never had that question before in my life. Something that's elusive, hard to catch. Something that's good gosh. I don't know. What do you think?
LT, what do you think, Coach Driscoll?
I can't breathe. Coach Mills what was Coach Mills, a fish, a largemouth bass?
Yeah, Coach Mills was a largemouth bass. I like kangaroo. It's something that's hard to catch, bounces around, and a fighter, right? Kind of blue collar fighter. That's kind of.
I like that. Go ahead. Yeah. What were you thinking?
Me?
Yeah.
I was thinking like a freaking panther or a tiger.
Okay.
Yeah, I like it.
You do have Dunkin' Donuts and Smoothie King all in the same cup holder.
Yeah.
True. Yeah. That's a good point.
Nice good point. Well, we're going to transition. I'm going to give you the platform last minute of the show, but I do want to kind of highlight the 5 H's that you kind of threw at us earlier, and I want to put you on the spot with who your hero is. Like when you get on the platform in front of your players and coaches, like who do you talk about with your hero?
My wife. I used to say my mom. My mom, 5 boys, knuckleheads, made bad decisions, bad discernment. She tried to really protect us from getting my dad involved because my dad when you deliver bread for 36 years, you get up early, you come home late. The good news is when he came home, he had to have hose and stoves. But and so my mom, but my wife is just like, even in the last, you guys don't know some things. You'll know them one day when I'm out of this. But like, I go through a lot of things. Like we go through a lot of things. And I have a large responsibility. Next to the president, there's no doubt it's the most critical job on campus because of this right now. I got 14 players. They're like 14 sons. that I'm responsible for every second of their being while they're with me. I have staff that have wives, that have children, that if I make a bad choice or I make a bad decision, or if I am not good enough to win, then they don't have jobs. So I'm feeding. So all this stuff resonates with me on a daily basis. And so she, just being the most incredible human being, she is the most thoughtful and compassionate. And like the kid getting his surgery, you know, she walked and prayed for him this morning and texted him this morning, and like she doesn't miss a beat. And like it's just, she loves me unconditionally. She listens to me. She's human. You know, she works at the university now. She's got a grandchild. We just had our grandson, Baylor Scott, that we are over the moon about. I told Coach Drew about a month ago, don't take it personal, but it ain't got nothing to do with Baylor and it ain't got nothing to do with you. So, but you can explain it whatever way you want. So his, my son's godfather, Scott Lang, if you know the name, in 2010 at age 41, was my best man at my wedding, my best friend, took over the program, Division III program that I helped revitalize. He died with a heart attack on the court. And that was my son's godfather. And so it's, you know, my wife, she just and she sits in the stands and she listens, and you know, and we're bums and we're losers and we don't know what we're doing, and then we're awesome and we're there, you know. So like to have that balance and that understanding, and she's my hero.
Yeah. Love it.
That's awesome, Coach. That's awesome.
Love it. So Coach, I'm going to turn it over to you. Last minute of the show. Anything you want to share to the?
Oh, I thought that was the last minute.
No,
I know, me too. I was ready.
That was just an extra
history.
Yeah.
Highlight. Heartache. Hero. Hope.
Yeah, I love it.
You know what's beautiful about that is some guys don't have a heartache, and they actually feel bad after listening to some stories.
Yeah.
The first time we did it, our trainer, the first guy was no father in his life, and told some, like when he hit a home run as a little leaguer, other kids, when they did, their dad took him to get ice cream, and he got nothing. And you think to yourself, like, who cares, right? Obviously, 7 years later, that stuff mattered.
Mm-hmm.
And like the next guy that went was homeless. No father in his life. Mom died as the 9th grader. He was homeless. And we got him at age 17. And so they get done doing theirs, and our trainer starts, he says, Coach, can my hero and my heartache be this? I mean, can my highlight and my heartache be the same thing? And I'm like, I don't know the rules, but I think you can do whatever you want to do. Just explain what you're talking about so we understand.
Yeah.
And he goes, my mom and dad divorced at a young age. They both married 2 wonderful people, and I have 4 incredible parents. And these guys, they don't have anyone. He has no one. And I got to have 4 incredible parents. My heart aches for these young people. And like everybody's in tears. And so, you know, that's why I like the coaches to go too. Yeah. So that they know when things are getting difficult and we get into that adversity scenario that we get into, which is the 5th question they have to answer every summer. How does our theme equate to adversity? Where are you gonna lean on the theme that's gonna help you get through what's inevitable? Adversity's coming. So, like the family series is powerful. Powerful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we love it, Coach.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Last minute. Go ahead.
Now, is there anything you want to share to the North Florida kind of alumni boosters, student section? Anything that you haven't shared on this episode so far that they should be excited about? I mean, they're already super pumped about, obviously, but you guys were preseason picked 7th in the ASUN. You guys are just lighting it up, and so I'm gonna let you close it out, Coach.
Okay, now you're back. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
You guys went away.
Oh, did we?
Yeah. All right, go ahead. What's the question?
Is there anything you want to share to the North Florida Osprey alumni booster student section? Anybody on campus to get them more excited than they already are. You guys were picked 7th in the ASUN preseason. I mean, you guys are already kind of showing everybody who you guys are as a team this year. But I'll let you close it out, Coach.
I'd say last year we were picked 11th, and Lenny Acuff came up to me in media days and said, "There ain't no way you're finishing 11th." And I said, I respect that, Coach. Thank you. And obviously we finished 5th. And actually, I thought we left a lot on the table. But all that stuff is perception. Mm-hmm. And nobody knows, right? Like nobody knows, like Ognisevich is back and Ortiz from North Alabama transferred back and Bland came back for EKU and Austin P reloaded with the high-level Division I transfer. And like, it's all perception, right? So you guys can have a lot of fun, during this time of year. But the reality is January 2nd. That's the reality. And I would say this, that's when the ASUN play starts. I would say this to everybody out there as a final. Listen, this university is an incredible, incredible family. It's an incredible community. And you go to college to be educated, but you go to class to learn. And the more and more and more that we get out there, we go out there, we experience, we understand that what it looks like to be amongst others, cheering for something that has a similarity to it. That is the time that you become educated in life. You become educated in being around others. You become educated in communicating. You become educated in all those things that are necessary when you go to college. It's way bigger than the books. Mm-hmm. And I would say, pour into these young athletes. Come watch them. Come see what they're about. And then take away whatever it is that can make your world better. There are so many people walking around right now. We were in a G League game yesterday. One of our players is on the Mexican G League team, Ivan Gonde-Rosa. And one of our assistants went to go get freshly squeezed lemonade and a pretzel, which, by the way, was only $15, which shocked me. And a kid stopped. It was elementary day. The game was at 11. And a kid stopped him. He goes, "Is that North Florida Ospreys?" And he goes, "Yes, it is." And he goes, "Are you one of the coaches?" And he's like, "Actually, I am. I'm one of the assistants." And he goes, "Man, y'all just beat South Carolina." And so there's a lot of proud people out there and people that recognize certain things. But I think we need to embrace the fact that the University of North Florida is an incredible institution. And here's what it stands for. Mm-hmm. Urgency never fails. Yep. And if you embrace where your feet are planted with a genuine purpose, urgency will always take you across that finish line. Play to win, have the confidence to finish. Yep. God bless and thank you.
Yes, God bless the USA. Coach, you're going to stick with us one more second. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching, Coach. That was awesome. Follow the North Florida Ospreys. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review, and check out College Basketball Weekly every Wednesday. Sam, that was fun. That was real. Go Ospreys.
Let's get it.